And there it is, right in today's gospel. That question that we human beings ask all the time and have for all ages. What should we do? We ask that question sometimes about things that are of very small importance, like, what outfit should I wear? Or what should we have for dinner tonight? We ask that question about things that wrench our hearts and souls, like, what do I say to my children who no longer go to church, or maybe claim they don't even believe anymore? Or, how can I continue to trust the church after all the scandals? Sometimes we ask that question about our relationships, our health. Whatever the situation, that question is there. What should we do? Or what should I do? We find ourselves, I think, at home with the people that were with John the Baptist in the gospel today. That was their question for John. And what should we do? They were people that found themselves at a crossroads in life. They knew they needed to make some change in their life. They wanted to get out of the box that they had been living in. But in asking that question, there was also some anxiety and trepidation, because they knew that if they asked that question of John the Baptist, he would give them a direct answer. What should we do? They knew that he would tell them some things that maybe required that they had to change their lives. They had to seek reconciliation. They had to alter their lifestyles. But they were willing. They were willing to risk asking him that question, and they were ready for whatever it cost for them to answer. Are we? What should we do? Are we ready for whatever it takes, whatever it costs? I was thinking about a woman who faced that question, and she paid for it. Her name is Dorothy Day. She was born in 1897 in Brooklyn, New York. She was always interested in being a social activist. She was interested in the poor. She was interested in human rights. But she got a bit off track. Earlier in her life, she was writing for a socialist newspaper. She had had several failed love affairs. She attempted suicide once. She had an abortion. And then she was living with her common-law husband, whose name was Forster. And together, they were expecting a child. And during that pregnancy, she began thinking about what she would like to offer her child. And for the first time in a long time, Dorothy Day began to pray. And she read a 15th century classic book called The Imitation of Christ. And it came to Dorothy Day that what she wanted for her child, who turned out to be her daughter, was that her daughter be baptized. And not simply be baptized, but be baptized as a Catholic. Dorothy Day was talking with a religious sister, a nun, down the street. And this sister ran a home for mothers who were single parents. And that sister turned out to be kind of a John the Baptist for Dorothy Day. The sister said to Dorothy, "How could you want your child to be baptized as a Catholic when you are not becoming a Catholic?" Well, Dorothy took that to heart, and she made up her mind. And she became a Catholic, and it cost her dearly. Her friends left her. Her common-law husband, Forster, left her. Forster was an anarchist. He saw no value to organized religion. In fact, he saw no value to anything that was organized. And there was Dorothy with her daughter. She turned her life over to the Lord. She gave her heart and soul to the Lord. It cost her, but she knew who it was that she was serving and whose she was. Dorothy became a daily communicant. She went to confession once a week. She still was involved with the poor, with the underprivileged, with workers, with human rights. She founded the Catholic worker movement. And she died at the age of 83 in New York City with the poor, the people that she loved, in 1980. And like Father Solanus Casey that I talked about last weekend, her cause is under consideration right now for her to be canonized as a saint in the life of the church. And so back to us with that Advent question. What should we do? Perhaps we find ourselves very much at home with the crowd that was around John the Baptist. There was not a lot of high drama there. There was a group of people, but asking that question, what should we do? And John the Baptist did not give them a complicated way of life as his answer. He was very direct, was very simple. What John the Baptist told them was, take one day at a time and do well the simple things that are right before you. And so the people said to John the Baptist, what should we do? And John the Baptist answers, well, if you have 2 cloaks, give one of them to somebody that doesn't have any at all. Pretty simple. How many coats and jackets and sweaters do you and I have? So many, perhaps, that we can't even find room for them in our closets and in our bureau drawers. How about giving some of them away? An early writer in the church used to say, that extra coat in your closet is the one that belongs to the person who is cold. The tax collector said, and what about us? What should we do? And John the Baptist says, collect only what you're supposed to collect. No more than that. What about us? Well, even in these troubled economic times, I think so many of us consider ourselves to be pretty smart at money things. And anybody who wants to talk to us about theirs, we can sure give them good advice, now can't we? Maybe John the Baptist's advice for us is, look how blessed we are.